Hey everyone, it's Matt Fraser, the Psychic Medium, and I am live right now on YouTube. And first of all, I'm tuning in today to talk to you a little bit about how you can know when there is a spirit around you that's trying to get your attention. And I got to tell you guys, all right, that sometimes a lot of you will write to me and you'll say to me, Matt, I feel this spirit around me, or I sense this spirit around me. Am I crazy? What is it? How do I know that this is real? What do I look for? And, some of you actually, think that it might be a ghost or a spirit when really it's actually a loved one that has passed away that is coming to visit you. And, that's all that ghosts are. I don't believe in ghosts. Ghosts are actually people that once roamed this earth and now are in spirit on the other side. And sometimes you'll sense and feel those spirits with you. But I got to tell you guys something. There is one telltale way that you will know that a spirit is with you. And here's how. Remember that young kids can see spirit. And more importantly, pets can see spirit. Do you ever wonder why pets don't fear death? They don't fear passing. They don't fear leaving this world. It's because our pets can actually see the spirit world every single day. And I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but it's true. And more importantly, it's not uncommon for pet owners that pass on to come back to visit their pets here in this world. For example, I was recently doing a reading where this woman, had lost her husband. And after her husband had passed away, her dog at random times would go over to her husband's chair where her husband used to sit and bark like crazy. And then she would see the dog, roaming around the house, and it looked like the dog was following something. And then next thing you know, the dog would go to the door and bark at the door and then go over to the leash and bark at the leash. And she had no idea what was going on until she sat with me for a reading. And you know what the first thing her husband said? Her husband said, he wanted her to know that he came back to check up on the dog. And right away she started freaking out. And it's like all of a sudden, the puzzle pieces fit together. And she was like, oh my God, Matt, I know exactly what you're talking about. She says, it's been crazy. She says, the dog has been barking and he's been barking at the chair. And she was telling me all of these different things. And I had to explain to her that, yes, pets can see spirits too. And young children can also see spirit. And I got to tell you, this is a telltale sign, because recently I actually had somebody reach out to me on Facebook who was really concerned. They shared a video with me. And, their baby that was just born was in the bassinet, in the nursery. And all of a sudden they were woken up by the baby monitor. And they heard this little baby laughing and giggling and pointing and gesturing to things. And they were like, what's going on? So it was like 3 a.m. Okay. They pull out the baby monitor, and they put on their glasses to take a little bit of a deeper look. And on the baby monitor, they saw all of these orbs that were flying around this child. And they were so spooked. They went into the room. They saw the baby motioning and looking at people that weren't there. And right away, they thought that it was something evil. So, of course, they reached out to me on Facebook, and I had to calm down the parents. And I was like, listen, no, it's not what you think. This isn't something out of a horror movie. I want you guys to all know this one thing. When your loved ones go to the other side, they're still invested in your life. And, they love to see the milestones that you achieve in your life here and now, especially when a child is born. When a child is born here in this world, think about it. Friends, family members, extended family, they all come rushing over the house. They all want to hold the baby. They all want to bring gifts to the baby. They all want to see that child that was first born. Well, they're not just the only ones. Those in spirit also come by to check up on that baby as well. So when I was tuning into that picture, when I was tuning into that video, I could clearly tell that there was a mom and a dad that were there in spirit that were visiting this child from the afterlife. To which, luckily the family confirmed, and it really helped to calm them down because they were completely stressed out thinking that something was wrong. Well, listen, what I want you guys to know is that this is actually how psychic mediums become psychic mediums. You guys might not remember this, but we're all born seeing and hearing the departed. When we're 1, 2, sometimes 3 years old, we see those in spirit. Those in spirit come to check up on us. Remember, because we actually start as souls in heaven, and then we're born here in this world. So, when we're first born, our connection with heaven is so strong because we just came from there. Our soul was in heaven and then came down here in this world. And that's why babies don't have any filter. But over time, as that child, gets older, right after the ages of 3, most children don't see those in spirit anymore. Most children lose that sight. But the few that hang on to it are those that are known as psychic kids. And that's where actually psychic kids come from. And I too was one of those kids, being just 3, 4, 5 years old. I was seeing the departed in and out of my room like that little boy from The Sixth Sense. But I got to let you know one thing. I learned so much about how to know when those in spirit are with us and around us because they reach out in similar ways. They reach out the same way to a psychic medium as they do with you. And here's one of the things that happened when I was a kid. And I want to share with you some of the experiences that I went through. This was before I even knew that I was psychic, but when spirits first started visiting me, because you may have had a similar experience. And I got to tell you, it would always happen when I was alone, when I was by myself, when I was playing with toys in my room, and when no one else was there. The spirits would come and try to talk with me. And this is how they would do it. Literally, there were times where I'd be downstairs in the basement, playing with toys, playing because I had a little playroom down there. I'd be all by myself, and all of a sudden, I'd be hearing someone say my name, Matthew, Matthew, clear as day. And sometimes they were even aggressive voices. I remember like somebody going, Matthew, Matthew, just like that, like I'm saying to you. And I remember like dropping what I was doing because sometimes I was afraid like that I was in trouble. And I ran upstairs thinking that it was my mom. And my mom was fast asleep on the couch and nobody was within the house. And there were other times where I'd be, in my bedroom playing. I'd be hearing my name called Matthew, Matthew. I'd get up, I'd run in, I'd be sending to my mom. I'd be going, what? Because we're Italian, that's what we do. Go and see my mother. And all of a sudden, my mother would be like, why are you yelling? Why are you yelling my name? I'm like, Ma, you were just calling me. And she'd be like, no, I wasn't calling you. And then that's when my mom had a conversation with me. She said, that one of the things that spirits sometimes do is they'll call your name. And when you hear them call your name, sometimes they'll actually call your name using a familiar voice of someone that's living. For example, you might hear your name being called and think it was your husband. You might hear your name being called and think that it was, your mom that's still living or your dad still living, but they're not in the house or they're not with you. That's one of the things that, the spirit world does to kind of test the connection and to get your attention. And what they're hoping is that you'll start to recognize those ways that they try to reach you and connect with you. One of the other ways that I always knew the spirit was with me is that when I was by myself or when a spirit would come in, and this would normally happen at night, when I'd be by myself in my bedroom, all of a sudden I would smell funeral flowers. All of a sudden the whole room would smell like a floral shop. Like, when you go to someone's memorial service and you could smell that pungent smell of flowers. That would happen to me when I was a little kid. I remember yelling and screaming and crying and calling my mom, and my mom would come in and explain to me that someone was there visiting me. And my mom would always ask me to look for clues. She'd say to me, okay, do you see anyone around you? And I sometimes I would see a shadow or a silhouette of somebody, and she'd say, okay, what do they look like? Is it a male? Is it a female? Is it a woman? Is she wearing long hair? Does she have dark hair? Is there some clothing that you can recognize? My mom used to try to get me to speak about these things, but being so young, I never entertained it. I was so afraid that I'd be pulling the covers over my head. But what I realize now is that these are just ways. They weren't trying to scare me. These souls were just trying to talk to me. And here's one of the things is that I've noticed by doing all of these readings that these are some of the same ways that your loved ones communicate with you. And I want to talk to you about this for 1 minute, all right? I was just doing a reading for this man, all right? And I love this reading. This to me is one of the number one ways that your loved ones come to reach you. And I got to tell you that a lot of times that's the reason why we wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Does that keep happening to you? You keep waking up at 2:22 or 3:33 in the morning. This is what I like to call visiting hours. Heaven does have visiting hours where they come from the other side to reach us here in this world. And those are the hours when usually everybody's fast asleep, everybody's in a deep sleep, and that's the number one time that your loved ones in spirit come to visit. Well, for this man, there was this man that I was just recently reading for, and he was in a lot of grief. He had lost his mom, and in the last moments of his mother's life, she only had a couple years to live. He moved into his mother's house. He sold his house. Luckily he was still single, so he could do that. He sold his house. He moved in with his mom. He says, Mom, I'm going to spend, as much time with you as possible. And him and his mom had such an amazing time with one another, where literally every day she would make him homemade Italian meals. One night he'd be having lasagna, one day he was having pasta, one day he was having eggplant parmesan, like all these different things. And then, his mom had passed away, and he was in, really just such deep grief. He'd gotten so close with her before she had died. They'd spent all these moments together, eating and sharing stories and spending moments with one another. And then his mom passed, and he was completely lost. Well, don't you know that literally there was a couple nights where he woke up at 2:30 in the morning, and he woke up swearing that somebody was cooking in the kitchen. Like, all of a sudden he woke up, he told me, Matt, he's like, I got up out of bed. He's like, and I could literally smell garlic in the frying pan. Like that's what his mom would do. She'd like have oil and garlic and make meatballs and certain things. And she would start early in the morning. So a couple times he woke up and he thought his mom was still living, and he got up and he ran to the kitchen, and then come to find out nobody was there. Nobody was cooking. And it was like absolutely like driving him crazy. Like, this man was like looking at the pan. He was going and he was like checking the pilot, like doing all these crazy things, thinking, how could this be happening? Thank you, Linda Strawberry, for that little tip there. And I got to tell you guys, excuse me, so good. Excuse me, I'm dying over here. Please, if I die, somebody talk to me. No, I'm kidding. I'm recovering from the flu. So I had the flu a few weeks back, and now when I talk, sometimes I cough. But anyways, here's what I want to let you guys know. That was his mom's way of coming through and letting him know that she was there and with him. Same thing happened to another client. I was reading this woman. She had a similar situation. She lived with her dad. Her dad was her best friend. And literally, her dad was, I forget what he was. I think he did something with trucking. But anyways, every morning he would get up at literally 4:30 in the morning, and he would make Folgers coffee. And she remembers when she lived with her dad, every morning him getting up, the Folgers coffee, going on, and then him going to work. And it would wake her up. She remembered hearing the door slam, smelling Folgers coffee, and then she would go back to bed. Well, don't you know that after her dad died in her own home where her dad did not live, randomly she would wake up at 4:30 in the morning at certain times and smell Folgers coffee. And she would get up and she'd be like, who's in my kitchen? Nobody's there. Why? Because your loved ones in spirit still carry their personality. In the same way that they smelled here in this world, the same way that they acted here in this world, it's the same in the afterlife. Your mom is still your mom. Your dad is still your dad. Your best friend is still your best friend. Death never separates us. So what happens is even as a medium, when I connect with your loved ones, when they come into the room, I'll actually smell their presence. That's how I know who's a smoker. That's who I know. For example, I was just doing a reading with somebody who worked for the oil company. When I was connecting with the soul, all in the room, I could smell crude oil. It's because when your loved ones are around, sometimes you'll pick up on that fragrance. And sometimes you might be the only one that smells it. For example, when I was a little kid, I used to get so frustrated. Because when a spirit would be with me or a spirit would try to contact me, for example, I would smell those funeral flowers and I'd be like, oh, immediately I would freeze. When I smell funeral flowers in my bed, like I'd be like, oh, I know right away like that a spirit was right there, and I'd get so scared. I'd be yelling for my mom to come in. And I remember like dragging my mom into the room and be like, Mom, smell this. And my mom would be like, no, I don't smell it. And I remember this one vision, actually, one night when I was a little kid. There was this spirit that was standing right in the corner of the room. And, the spirit smelled of these funeral flowers. And I was like, Mom, come here. You got to smell this. And my mom came in the room, and my mom, she's got that big Italian, snaz. She's like this. And she's like, no, I don't smell it. I'm like, Mom, I smell it. She's like, no, I don't smell it. And I'm like, Mom, come over here. And I dragged her over to the corner to where the spirit was. And I'm like, Mom, smell this right here. And she was in the corner. I'm like, you don't smell that? I'm like, Ma, it's in my face. It's everywhere. And she smells. She's like, no, I don't smell it. And then my mom explained it to me. It was because the soul that was coming through was trying to reach me, not her. And I got so upset because like I was sensing and feeling these things, but my mom wasn't. And listen, my mom is a psychic medium. So you would think that she would pick up or sense that spirit there. But no, that's not what happens. Because when a soul wants to connect directly with you, you might sense and feel something that your husband doesn't. And that's the reason why I'm telling you that. Because so many times I'll tell this to people and people don't trust their intuition or when a spirit is around because they think that they are crazy. they'll be like, oh my God, I just felt this chill go by me. And they'll instantly try to seek validation from somebody. And they'll be like to their husband, did you just feel that chill in the air? Did you just smell this? Did you just smell that? And they'll be like, no, I didn't smell that. And then right away they think they're crazy. No, you're not crazy. It was a spirit encounter. And what's so crazy as well is that, your loved ones use these ways to get in touch with you and only you because they know that it's going to work. And here's another way. Sometimes you might actually feel a spirit touch you. And there's actually a reading that I did on my YouTube channel where a woman, okay, was in the chair. She would oftentimes take naps in the chair that her husband loved. He had this big, big, big overstuffed chair. And at times she would go and she would sleep in the chair and stay in the chair. And one day her husband was checking up on her in spirit and he touched her arm and she actually felt it. She felt these pins and needles, almost like these chills go down her arm. And it woke her up out of a sleep. And it's funny because she didn't put two and two together. And then if you watch that reading on my channel, I think it's called Spirit Touched My Arm or something like that. It's on my YouTube page. I said to her, your husband's telling me you were sleeping in his chair and you felt him touch your arm. And she went, oh my God, I thought it was a spider. She goes, I woke up. I didn't know what it was. Well, no, that is how, sometimes we can feel our loved ones touch us. But also what's a real true reminder that our loved ones are there are spirit orbs. Just like I talked about in the beginning of this video, how there was that little baby and on the baby monitor, they could see orbs around this child. Well, guess what? That same thing can be seen with the cameras on our phone. So if you're sensing or feeling a spirit with you, and here's how sometimes you feel it. You might feel like you're not alone. You might feel like there's someone watching you. You might feel like there's a heaviness there. You might hear floorboards start to creak. You might start to hear random noises like it sounds like someone's in your kitchen. Take out your phone and start filming because you might pick up on orbs. And I got to tell you something. Orbs freak people out. And here's why. So many people say to me, Matt, what the hell is an orb? Does that mean when we die, we're this? Does that mean that we're just air? No. Remember that the same way that we can't see spirits with our naked eyes, unless we're a psychic or a medium, even I don't see your loved ones that clearly. I don't see your dad, standing there, with his tie on and so on and so forth. Sometimes they'll show me articles of clothing, but I see, the messages come through where I see your loved ones in shadows, silhouettes, different forms, and that's how I know who I'm speaking to. But what I want to let you know is that orbs are actually the energy of your loved ones. Like, for example, have you ever taken a picture of somebody that walked by a camera and they walked by too quickly and it was almost like a translucent picture of them? Or maybe somebody maybe sometimes you accidentally put your finger in the camera and you take a picture and there's just this blur or this weird thing that happens. Well, that's what, is captured on camera, but different. When you see an orb on camera, it's actually the energy of your loved ones. Because remember, our loved ones are energy. They don't look like an orb. They have an appearance just like me or you do, but the camera can't see that. So the camera instead just picks up on that orb. But here's the other thing that I want to let you know. One of the other telltale ways that your loved ones are there in spirit, excuse me, I got a cough, is when, have a sip of my espresso now, hold on. Thank you guys for sending all of that in the chat because it's a little bit watered down over here. Psychics run on an espresso, just to let you know. But anyways, here's the thing, okay, is that and one of the other ways that you can know when your loved ones in spirit are there is when weird things happen with electricity. Okay, lights start to flicker, cameras on phones, start to flash, or weird things happen. You start to automatically look at your TV and the volume turns up, the channel changes, it turns off, a light bulb burns out, a light bulb pops. If this ever happens, doorbell rings, no one's there. If this ever happens, it's actually a spirit that might be there and with you. Why? People think that's because your loved ones are in spirit going behind the television console and unplugging the wires. No, that's not what's happening. Your loved ones in spirit come by and visit you. Sometimes they come into your house to check up on you. And when that happens, you can feel those weird things. You can feel a chill. You can feel like a presence with you. You can feel like you're not alone. But what I have to let you know is that, your loved ones don't do that to scare you. They can't help it. Because their energy, it's almost like an electromagnetic force. when your loved ones, come in to visit you, when they walk by a lamp, the energy of their soul might cause the lamp to blink. When they walk through your house, their energy coming through the front door might cause the, alarm to go off, or the fire alarm to go off, or the doorbell to ring, or the lights to start to flicker, or the volume go up. Your loved one's not there with the remote control grabbing it. It's just that, as they move through your house, those random things might start to happen. But like I said, if that does happen to you, get out your phone, record it, and see what exactly is going on. And this is the one thing that I find that's so amazing, okay? Is that your loved ones in spirit try to get in touch with you the same way that they're trying to get in touch with me as a medium. The same things that I sense and feel, I always pass on to you. For example, when I was reading for Dr. Paul Nassif on the TV show Botched, I was there, and the moment that I stepped into the room, his mother was there in spirit, and right away I smelled all Gina Tay around me. And I was like, your mother's here. And I'm like, I keep smelling Gina Tay. And he started crying. And he's like, that was my mother's favorite fragrance. That's what she used to wear all the time, every day. And I said to him, do you ever smell that smell around you? And he said, in fact, I have. But he didn't put the pieces together. Remember that you know that a loved one is there because signs from your loved ones are specific. They follow your loved one's personality. The way that they were here in this world, they're still the same on the other side. So that being said, I could spend all night long talking to you guys about heaven and the afterlife and ways to sense and feel your loved ones with you. I could literally write the book, and I did. This is my newest book. It's coming out this summer, called We Never Die, Secrets of the Afterlife. This is why we never die, because we all have a soul. And when we leave this world, our soul leaves our body, and our soul transitions into heaven, and we look the same way as we do in here in this world. Only we are the perfect version of ourselves, the perfect version without illness, without pain, without suffering, without negativity. And that's why I wrote this book, We Never Die, Secrets of the Afterlife. Your loved ones in spirit have taught me so much about what happens when we die. What age are we in heaven? What happens to children? What happens to our life partners? What is a soulmate? Do we have a soulmate? I wrote this book with the help of those in spirit, and it's available for pre-order right now on Amazon. So go and pre-order, and it's on sale today, only $25. So get your pre-orders in on Amazon. If you pre-order from Amazon, you don't get charged until it's shipped. So you got to go on there. You got to get your pre-orders in. And more importantly, I cannot wait for you to get it. And what I want to let you guys know while I have you all here, if you want a reading from me, a lot of you guys have been asking me right now. I see all of you. Let me give some shout outs. I see Queen of Hearts is here, and Black Swan is here, and I see Shiloh is here, and Angelina Delmore is here, and I see the Broke Card Collector is here. I love that name. And Carolyn Boyce is here, and I see Jada Ross. If you would like a reading with me, yes, I see all you guys, and I see Tracy Lay as well. I want to let you guys know I am coming to give live readings in Las Vegas, okay, on February 11th and February 12th. And by the way, February 12th is sold out. So if you want to come see me in Las Vegas, I will be there February 11th at the Venetian. Tickets are on sale on my website. Then I'm coming to Lynn, Massachusetts on March 3rd. I'm coming to the Lynn Auditorium in Lynn, Massachusetts. Then I'm coming to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on March 5th and March 6th. Okay, March 5th is sold out, but we have March 6th available. Then I'm also coming to Detroit, Michigan. So if you would like to see me live in person, up close and personal, if you would like to come and attend, a live reading with me, you got to get your tickets. Remember, Las Vegas, Lynn, Massachusetts, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Detroit, Michigan. And for those of you who are not in those states, okay, you can also come to an online reading with me. And let me give you that link. Here's the link right here. This is the link to in-person events. Oh, hold on, it's going by too fast. How do I get this up? Did that work? Did it do it? Do you guys see that? Yes. So meetmattfraser.com. You got to go to meetmattfraser.com. That's where you can see me in person, or you can join me online. Now, I was on here yesterday, and I told you that the next online reading was April 5th. We just sold out of that. There are no spots left. Literally, no. We can only allow so many people per online reading. So that being said, once that event is sold out, we can't allow any more people in. So April 5th is sold out, but we have April 7th available. So if you're seeing this video, if you're replaying this, I hope that this message gets to you in time. It's only $19 to attend an online group reading. We use Zoom, and it doesn't matter where you live. You can attend from the US, you can attend from Canada, we've had people attend from Australia. All you need is a smartphone, a tablet, a computer, and you can come in and join. So meetmattfraser.com, just click on events. That's where you can attend an online group reading where I see you guys at home and I tell you what souls are with you and I connect with you guys and deliver messages. Or you can come and meet me live in person in Las Vegas, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Lynn, Massachusetts. So I hope to see you guys. And more importantly, write to me, leave some messages in the comments. Let me know about all the signs that you've been receiving from your loved ones in spirit, because the signs are endless. Your loved ones in spirit are always there. They're always with you. And when you sense those signs, when you sense your loved ones, for example, like that client that sensed their dad in the middle of the night, ask yourself, why now? Why would my dad be coming through at this moment? And here's what I have to let you know. Souls normally come through when you least expect them, but when you most need them. So maybe your daughter's getting married and you sense and feel your dad. It's his way of letting you know he's going to be there for the wedding. Maybe your son's graduating college. Your dad didn't get to, see him go through the years of schooling. He's showing you that he's there and that he's with you. They always come over to us at specific times, and they also come to us during holidays, birthdays, and events. So always remember that. And remember that also, if you're unsure of what soul is around you, look for the clues. Anything that you sense and feel is real and might be a way that your loved ones are reaching out. So one last time, my website is meetmattfraser.com, meetmattfraser.com. If dead people can find me, so can you. That's where you can join me for an online reading, or you can come and meet me in person. I cannot wait to see all of you. And I want to thank you guys for being here on my channel with me. Also, while I have you, don't forget, every Monday, there's a brand new psychic reading video, and all of those readings that you see have happened during my online group reading events. I've been able to meet so many of you. I love, love, love seeing you all here. And more importantly, remember, there is psychic ability in all of us. So until next time, I'll see you soon.